All right, so in today's video, we're going to be watching a Diamond 3 Orisa / Winston that used to be Masters. Now, that can happen sometimes, so don't worry about that. Right now in current ranked, if you find yourself a little bit below where you started, that's okay. It's been happening a lot. So this is one of these games where they feel like things just kind of happen. They don't know how to play this map anymore because Sigma no longer feels strong. I want to point out, although I have Sigma a little bit lower on my tier list now, Sigma is still a very good tank. Circuit Royale is still a very good map for Sigma. So you can be in the mindset that Sigma is still good on Circuit Royale, in my opinion, even with the new stuff. I think that, and then, so basically we're going to talk about that, see how it goes, and then we have an addition today, so you'll see, but there's going to be the green screen today, especially when used. I'm excited. Look at it that way. I am excited. So I hope you all enjoy this. I am ready. Let's start off here. We'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can use the new green screen stuff. I'm excited. Here we go. But back to what you were saying, Sigma is very good here. Like, Sigma is very good. Okay. It's time for me to pause. Are we ready? So what I'm going to do now is I kind of want to show you a rotation on Sigma that you can do on this map and how you want to do it and why you want to do it, okay? I already see what you're doing as Sigma here on first point where you might feel like Sigma struggles a little bit, but there's something you need to do and like a process you need to do on Sigma that will make it a lot better. All right, so listen, I always talk about how you want to play Sigma here, right? It's one of those things where as Sigma, it's a good map. As you can see behind me here, it's looking like a nice night here. You can see I have my little pad right here. So as you can see here, it's a beautiful map. Looks great, awesome, all of that in general. But I always talk about how this is a good Sigma map. But there's a rotation at the beginning that you want to go with that I think will help a lot. So what you're gonna want to do, apparently, oh, I just spilled water all over the floor. Wonderful, good start. I was just thinking if there was a cat bowl right below me with water in it, I would love to make my socks wet. That's perfect, great. Okay, so as Sigma here, and I've learned this is the best bet. A lot of players like to play up here, right? See this spot right here that I'm showing? Is it actually showing? Please tell me it's showing. Is it showing? Oh, it's not showing yet, 1 second. So up here is where a lot of players will play. Can you see that right there? So that's what you see. A lot of players are gonna play right there, and they're gonna sit up there. So as Sigma, you have two options. You can go down mid and try to get the people on the side. And what I mean by on the side is if you look here, you're gonna go like this way, right? Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I hit the wrong button. Oh, this isn't good. Holy, 1 second. Okay, so a lot of the time what's gonna happen is you're gonna see right there, players will play there, right? And by default, a lot of the time, right, you wanna go like this, right? You wanna default that way. See the big giant arrow I have here? Right? You want to default right there. Okay, but the problem is that if they stay up on that high ground over here where we have the arrow to begin with, that's not the play. So as Sigma, what I like to do is I like to go to the left side here, all the way up, and take away the high ground. What this does is does two things, right? See this right here? This area right here, right? This makes it so you take away this area, and then they have to rotate down this way, and then when they rotate down that way, you now have the high ground control here. Your teammates can push, and then they get forced into the sight line this way. Do you see what I'm talking about? If you look at the screen right now, it should make sense. So if I just showed you this screenshot, this should tell you exactly how to play Circuit Royale. It doesn't get much cleaner than that. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit there on what you want to do in first point is Sigma. With that being said, back to you. Me. This is where the camera shift happens. We got to shift the camera. Oh, I'm the one who... 1 second. We continue on now. I hope you enjoyed that. So remember as Sigma to try to take that map control like that. All right? Wait, the mic? What mic am I on? Wait, what mic am I on? How does this... Wait, is it this mic? Oh, wait, is that better now? So I gotta get... I had my Stream Deck, and then it broke the other day, so I had to redo it. But what that does is that basically takes away the high ground. If you already look already, you're getting rolled, right? And look what's happening. You're given this whole part of the map, which is why I was showcasing this area as an area you want to take and eliminate these type of off angles. So remember that as Sigma. Like, if you do that, oh, you're on Orisa now. You do not have to make this swap to Orisa. You had started right from the get-go by saying Sigma isn't good on, like... Sigma is still good. Sigma is strong on Sigma maps. Sigma lost a little bit of those stronger maps with the Junkertown change, where you don't necessarily have to play Junkertown and with the kind of more of the dive-heavy stuff, but Sigma is still a very, very good tank, and you should do that. Alright? Like, stay on Sigma. Because as Orisa, you're still going to be long range, and while you're making good plays, it's still there's still a lot to be like, there's a lot you can do, to say the least. What rank is this? This is Diamond. Nice eat on the ultimate. You can eat the ultimate. Good job. Now, I want to point something out. And you're going to look at this and go, well, I swapped Orisa and look what I did. I think you can get some very similar value on Sigma here. And the reason why I say that is because, oh yeah, apparently they had a little bit of packet loss, so if you ever see them running into a wall, this is what this is. I wouldn't recommend that. So if you do end up having packet loss there, I just wouldn't recommend having packet loss. It wouldn't be good, in case you were wondering. All right? Zelda, thanks 11 months. Thank you, appreciate it. Now remember, you're going poke heavy here, right? That's what you're trying to do. You need to be aggressive in a second. You know, when you said you had packet loss, it definitely you had. Yep. You can stop Queen ult with hitting that javelin, so that is an accurate play there to go for that. Good job kind of keeping them away from their team. That's what you want to do. Also think about your position, so think about where their LOS is going to be, right? And I talk about line of sight all the time, and you can see what's happening. I think this is a good moment to show what I mean by line of sight, okay? Yeah, I always talk about what LOS is. What is line of sight, right? And this is one of those team fights that can make or break that for you, right? So if I was to walk over here and kind of talk about this, I think a good thing that we could do here is there's water still here. This sock, if it wasn't already wet, is now at its full amount. Like, I don't think this sock can absorb any more water than it has. I need to point that out. And you would think after the first time of stepping on the water that wouldn't be an issue. Well, I've managed to step on that water twice, in case you're wondering. What I mean by LOS is you decided to take the fight here, right? This is where the queen was. Excuse me. You can see where the queen was. I'll back up for a second. See, oh, the water! It's the other sock now! I have just wet sock now. This is not good. That is where the queen was, right? So ideally, when you're taking this team fight, you need to worry about that line of sight. So what is line of sight is the question, right? What is line of sight? So line of sight would be if their sight lines are here. You see the Hanzo that can see you in a straight line down there? So as you can see, that's what the sight line is. So when you take this fight against the queen, you want to make it so they can't see you, right? So if you take the fight on this side of the wall, over here, you'll be in a good spot. Instead, you decided to rotate to right here. Do you see where this spot is? And when you do that, this gives line of sight to the Hanzo, this gives line of sight to the Kiriko, this gives line of sight to the Moira, and in doing so, what happens now? You can't do anything. You're going to take a lot of damage, and even if that queen survives or gets rolled, you have now put your team in a position to have to keep you up with heals, and with a new 20%, so I can show you right here, 20%, right? 20%. Here, let me do this, actually. 20%, 20%, here we go. 20% less healing is not good for you. That's it. There you go. I want to watch Orisa in third person there. But yeah, be careful of that. Because people don't think about that with line of sight, where you're just constantly taking as much damage as possible. That's what we always say, hide behind walls. That's what we always say, hide behind walls, hide behind walls. All right, I'm watching. Yep, get aggressive here now. But keep in mind, remember when we talked about with LOS, you now putting yourself at an off angle to the Pharah, right? So what I would do here is I'd be aggressive on them, but also turn. There you go. So the reason why you turn is if the Pharah shoots you, they obviously ulted your team. You can still absolutely win this team fight. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're good. Pop your gold. Pop your gold. Pop that gold. Nice, and you're good to go. And that was what we call an ultimate that you thought you needed to use, but you didn't. I'll let that one pass. Sound good? Did that make the queen touch the point? I don't know, maybe? I don't think the queen, I don't think it did. That it wasn't updating for you? What wasn't updating for you? Oh, this is great. I can see the chat set. What rank is this? This is Diamond. This is Diamond. Sorry, I need to go back to make sure it's right up. Yes. They used to be Masters. I do want to point out again, Sigma is very good here. The sight lines, the amount of damage you can do, even if Sigma's a little bit lower on tier lists where you normally see Sigma, Sigma is still a very strong hero that will benefit from maps with long sight lines. Okay? Oh, Novice. There we go. Yeah. A lot of cooldown space. Oh, yeah. So also, one thing that you can do with your javelin is be patient. And what I mean by that is I do this too, where like I try to flick the javelin. That's not the play. Just kind of like when you use your javelin, just let it go to where you had it to go. A lot of people will move it too early and your mouse will like miss by a mile. That's what I do. Or even on console, the same thing can happen. So be careful of that. No, we don't need a wet sock ability. Basically, whenever I play Orisa, that's what happens. So when I say sightline, you see how this is a giant straight alley down there? Like, that's what I mean. Also, right there, you didn't move your crosshair. You see how that was? Just, like, trust that your redwood-sized javelin will hit people. A lot of the time when you miss it, including when I miss it, is because I just move it too much. You're going back to spawn. Wonderful. Track their ultimates. Ultimate tracking is important. Remember that, okay? Yeah, the matchup you always expect in this map. Queen versus Orisa? Yeah, no, that's not usually how it works. No, there's not a redwood-sized puddle on the floor from the cat water. Okay, you're looking to take right side. This is good. Take top right. Don't just like look at them and be like, okay, I'm good. Go commit to that. Okay, back to the low ground. Okay, so it's time to pause. And we're gonna, I think right here is a good opportunity to pause and head over to that green screen very quickly, okay? We're gonna talk about this one very quickly too, because you keep doing the same thing. And this goes for anybody, no matter what rank you're in, right? No matter what rank you're in, let me show you this, okay? I keep talking about angles, right? And what I mean by that is you see how you have this part of the map right here? See this? As you can tell by my skills there, I'm really good at drawing with an arrow right there. Pretty unbelievable. That's one angle, right? So this is where normally all your team fights, where they happen, right? You're gonna have them happen in these straight line, just like right down the middle. You just slam your face against each other, right? Like that's what you see a lot in games. But when we talk about off angles in Overwatch and we talk about taking an angle, going here, going there, going everywhere, right? I just wanted to say words there. I doesn't really go anywhere. This is where it becomes a problem. Look up here. You had the right idea at first where you wanted to go up on the high ground, right? You see that? You see how there's now a separate angle going down and shooting at you? This is why we always talk about the importance of high ground, right? People are like, wow, talking about the importance of high ground on this channel? Haven't heard that one before. Well, you're right, because we don't talk about it too often. This is great. I can just walk around with an iPad, well, it's actually a Surface in my hand while doing this, okay? So that's why it was so important when you're on the outside of the map, right? The outside of the map, taking that high ground around there and taking away this angle. You take away this angle, what happens? If that angle doesn't exist, now you have this... Oh, no, the water again! How do I... That's the third time! The point I'm trying to make here is that you take away this angle, you force them into the way that you want to play. Your team has that angle, your team wins the team fight. If you keep slamming your face against the wall down the middle here, that's where you struggle. And you'll see me do this, by the way. If you come to my channel and I'm playing a Circuit Royale in my 52nd game of the day and I'm probably running it down mid than taking high ground, you can remind me of that because that's also something I need to remind myself when I'm playing. All right, does that sound good? So remember, what do we learn here? Off angles help the other team. If you take them, they help your team. Learn that. Or something like that, I don't know. Back to me. Didn't even clean it up? What do you mean didn't clean it up? My socks are cleaning it up just fine. Do you see how you see what I'm talking about with those angles? Do you see how you're constantly looking top right? Like, win or lose here, like, this team has put them in a spot to be able to have good position against your team, which makes it hard for you. Now, win or lose, if your team wins, great. But if they don't, you see
how the increase in green screen quality was traded elsewhere to remain scuffed.
mean? This has been perfect, okay? Okay, let's see what happens, see how your defense goes. Once again, do not be afraid to play Sigma on this map. I know we've talked about how Sigma is not... This is a Sigma map, straight up. Those sight lines I've talked about can be really good. You love when you click on the stream and put you... Yeah, on YouTube streams it does that. It'll like I'll be in like YouTube chat. Well, actually, I love that sometimes when I'm YouTube streaming. One thing I love about YouTube chat sometimes, I'll be sitting there on YouTube chat, right? And then out of nowhere, somebody will be like, dude, what you're feeding. I'm like 28-0 in like a Gibraltar game. Be like, dude, what are you doing? Yo, you're feeding. I'm like 28-0, and I'm like, dude, is this person? And I realize what happened is they clicked the YouTube stream, but then like it randomly put them like 2 hours in, and they're watching like a ranked game from like 4 hours ago. And I'm just like, this does not make sense. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what game that was. Like, they are not happy about it though. Now look at the team comp they have, and look at the LOS you have. Line of sight is LOS. What you're doing right now is you're playing in the middle of the open, so when you have to escape, you're gonna kind of be out of position, right? Also, do you see how their team took the high ground right there? That's what they want to do. Good job by you trying to take that high ground back for your team. Use that line of sight I talked about, though. Like, hide behind the wall. Make those plays. You see what you did there, by the way? You're the only person on your team to play really close and play out of position. This is what I mean by that. It's okay, and I want you to get you in the mindset. If you're on Circle Royale, you can play Sigma. Do not go Winston here or anything. A better world is possible today. All right, we're gonna go Winston here. Just be careful of trying to dive too deep on the back line. All right? Yep. So your team needs a little bit of help. Use the bubble. Don't bubble. So you want to use your bubble to LOS some of the damage. If you bubble right there, they're going to kill your bubble right away, and now you're just sitting here as Winston doing nothing. You see, once again, where I think Sigma would be a good spot here? Now being in the mindset of like, oh, Sigma isn't good now, I can't play Sigma? Like, it's actually... I'm actually amazed that you're not getting rolled here. Mainly just because you're not able to do anything. So this is Current Tank in Season 9. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. You're going to take a lot of damage. So, like, I do like your patience there hiding behind a wall, though. That was good. Have I seen this before? I have not seen this before. Anything that we see, I generally will be looked at by Awcrap or Danny.
No one can hide from my
I mean, it's working. Oh, yeah, speaking of that, by the way, if you're playing Winston now in games, that right click is super powerful now. So if you don't utilize that right click by Winston, that thing goes like I think I have more range than Widow. You feel like tanks need a damage boost? You know what? As much as I would love a damage boost right now, I'm going to be honest with you, I totally disagree. I don't think giving tanks more damage right now is going to be the problem. The tank needs survivability, not damage. Straight up. All right, here we go. Yeah, giving more damage to tanks will not solve the problem of people taking too much damage and stuff. Would I trade tank damage for survivability? There's a fine line between that because then you become like you're not doing anything. Like you don't want to be like I don't want to make tank be a punching bag, but that's kind of where tank is right now. So they're trying to get away from that a little bit. Okay, now that you're actually making Winston work here, which is great. Don't be afraid to be aggressive on their backline now with your ultimate. Use the bubble to, okay, perfect, and then go for their Ana. Okay, honestly, that's fine. Wait on heals. Remember that you have the 20% on you now, so that Zen ult won't keep you alive like it used to. You're getting less healing across the board. I mean, I will say, from a playstyle point of view, though, of you not being over aggro, you're doing a pretty good job of that. I think your bubble usage could use a lot of work, and like right there, like that play you just made, there was no point to that. You went up there, you popped your bubble, you left, right? Things like that are going to be things you want to clean up on, and that's why you get rolled, because you're using your cooldowns just to use them. All right? right? Let me ask you this question right now. What would have been better for you to do right there? Sit as Winston and do absolutely nothing and do an occasional right click, or go Sigma and constantly spam damage out so they can't move up right away? And that's why I mean you have to look at the hero and the strengths of the hero, where like Winston, while it worked a little bit there, you were just basically doing nothing and just waiting on your teammates to get in a limb. That's why I would recommend something like Sigma, where you can play that same way you just played Winston, and you'll be fine. You notice how you were playing Winston, kind of like how you would play Sigma? That's not what you want to do with Winston. You want to take map control, you want to take the high ground, you want to go around the map. Instead, you're just playing Winston like you would play Sigma. This is Diamond. This is 100% Diamond. Not bad. Good dive. Good play. Rank. They want to know how to play this map now that they can't play Sigma, which we're trying to tell them you can play Sigma. By also doing some green screen stuff in between for fun. Maybe he didn't want Sigma because of beam heroes, counter Sigma. I mean, that wouldn't. If you said to me, hey, I'm playing Circuit Royale and I go up against a Zarya every time, I'd be like, great, that's perfect. I'm going Sigma. It does not matter if Zarya can roll Sigma. This is not a map where you just worry about the 1v1 tank matchup. If you're you like basically want to force the Sigma versus Sigma. Otherwise, the tank will have zero fun against that. They're going to get rolled by snipers constantly. Now, obviously, there's going to be outliers to that where you get rolled no matter what. Well, like, whenever we say a hero struggles on a map, it does not mean, like, it sometimes be like, what do you mean? I play Junkrat and Dorado and I pop off all the time. I'm not saying that you can't win a game as Dorado if you're a Junkrat player. What I'm saying is that the value you'll get might be a little bit more difficult to find. You can still find it, but it's not going to be as easy as if you go Widow and just sit there across the map, right? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you can't play that hero. It's just there's going to be some struggle on that. There it is. The bubble, jump in. Teammates are now forced to save you. This is why I say Sigma. Sigma will be great here. Ah! You're having a blast, aren't you? Oh no, the 98% health charge where you go in, think you're gonna get your ultimate, then you don't, then you go, aw. Or you use your ultimate, you just hear, roar, but it doesn't work, and then you just go back to spawn and get mad? Or is that just me? Go in, dive their back line. Go for the Ana. Go for the Ana. Wonderful target selection. Use your ultimate if you need to. You win this. Nice job. You just popped your ultimate with 1125 HP and fell down 800 HP immediately to a Storm Arrow. But you win the game. I mean, and see, you made it work on Winston, but this is also very reliant on how your teammates are playing. So, just to go back for 1 second here, and I want to talk about this very quickly. Like, your whole discussion about this as Winston in general was like, hey, I need to play Winston here because Sigma isn't working. Right? Because, like, Sigma doesn't work anymore, doesn't play as well. This is a great Sigma map. I guarantee you if you play Sigma here, you're probably going to dominate. You had one bad go of things and you immediately swapped. You go, what do you mean? I watch your channel all the time. And you'll switch to Diva after one lost team fight. This isn't about me. All right, chat? This isn't about me. So, my biggest recommendation to you is, I didn't mind your positioning, but, like, don't be afraid to play Sigma on Circuit Royale. If you play Winston, I want you to start looking for high ground control. Move around the map. You're not there to play Winston to play like you will play Reinhardt or Sigma. We talk about it all the time. As Winston, take high grounds. Play around the map. Do things like that. You'll be fine. Also, for anybody who's saying, like, oh, I'm in a lower rank right now, especially, like, in a lot of ranks, the new system they put in place, if you're, like, a rank below where you were before, don't be discouraged. It's going to be a grind. Your rank will still, you'll get there. It's just, don't be discouraged by that, because I think you can still climb and make those plays. So if you were in Masters before, there's a lot of top 500 players who are in Masters. There's a lot of pro players who are in mid GM. Like, it's okay if you feel like you're a little bit, like, on that. It's not there. All right? Does that sound good? If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, which you'll see somewhere down right here. It's going to pop up. It's going to light up. It's going to be like, hey, you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. You should, because then you know when my videos go live. Hit the like button. By hitting the like button. Does it look like a check mark? No, but if I like something, you give it a check mark, right? That's how it's gonna go. Perfect. Also, if you haven't subscribed to all 3 channels, make sure to do so. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3 YouTube channels. Everyday uploads. Worth it. Great videos on there across the board, different stuff. If you want to submit your own Spectating, look in the description below again. Same spot, near the subscribe button if you haven't hit that one. My Discord, that's where you would do that. Join my Discord. We also watch these live on stream. So if you noticed over here during the video, that was the Twitch chat. Stop by. We have a lot of fun here. It's a good time. If you haven't done that, make sure to do so. And with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day. Slash Knight.